Hello, Space Junkies, and welcome to a very special live episode of What a Piece of Junk, the Star Wars podcast here on the Fandom Podcast Network. And right now, we are going to watch episode 1 of season 3 of Star Wars The Mandalorian. But I can't do this alone. Joining me on this extra special episode is an extra special guest, Mr. Kevin Raiderderd Reitzel. Kevin, welcome to the show.
What is up? I'm so excited. I think this will be like my 5th time I'm watching this episode. So I'm really excited.
Mad respect. I am going into it having only watched it once, so my reactions might be a little fresh. I'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice that last time.
I'm still doing that.
You know who is going to have noticed everything? The meticulous one himself, Mr. Miracle, our very own Dave Filclone, the man of 1,000 nicknames. It's Nathan Miracle. Nathan, what's up?
Hello, I am going to be watching this for the 3rd time today. I saw it
today.
Well, no, okay. 1st time today, 3rd time total. But I brought a very special guest with me too. It's Rex.
Ooh,
you got it. You got it.
He came out just yesterday, and I promised the guy at the Lego store I'd come pick him up, but then I went to Target instead. But they had him, so still got it. And it was a lot of fun to put together. He even has a little nameplate at the bottom that identifies him as Captain Rex, in case you didn't know. But I mean, who wouldn't know this helmet?
Indeed. You know who would know that helmet? Mr. Derek Marsh. Derek, welcome to the Drunken Gungan for a live episode.
Happy Baby Yoda Day. Yay.
Happy Baby Yoda Day. And big props to Kevin for setting up a cool Google Slides show for us for tonight's episode. As you can see, we've got the armor front and center there. And this is The Mandalorian episode, The Apostate. Guys, what does the word apostate mean to you? Nathan?
Well, we like to play the game Sentinels of the Multiverse, and Apostate is one of the villains that you can play in that game. So to me, it's a villain from Sentinels of the Multiverse. But that may be what introduced the term to me. But to me, it is a person who has turned their back on their own religion, or perhaps their religion has turned its back on them.
Yeah. Kevin, had you heard the term apostate before this episode title?
Yeah, it's what happens when San Francisco 49er fans jump wagon and join the Raiders. That's what happens.
They become 49er apostates. I could see that.
Yeah. No, it's been a while since I've heard that word floating around, but I knew what it meant, though. And I was kind of curious if it was going to refer to Din specifically. When I saw it pop up on the screen, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Dave Filoni's involved. It's got to have at least 2 meanings.
Yeah, I know, right?
Have at least 2. Yeah. Well, my dad is a pastor, so I knew what the term meant, but mostly from Sunday school, that kind of thing. Derek, were you familiar with apostate before this episode title?
I mean, I know what it is, but it always makes me think of prostate for whatever reason. So I like it to that, but it has nothing to do with it. I know that, but it just the way it makes it sound, I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, we don't want to keep everyone waiting too long. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the stream. We have a group watch queued up here on Disney Plus. But if you guys want to follow along at home, we will be starting the stream in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. At least, if my computer cooperates. Okay, I have the Disney Plus logo, and it's doing its thing and trying to synchronize. And I'm trying to make sure I don't reflect too much of it in my glasses lenses so we don't...
Derek, how many times is this for you now?
Just a second.
Okay.
I'm going in. Too much work going on, so I don't have free time today.
Yeah. All right, I have the synchronizing thing. So anyone who is trying to watch along at home, we are still syncing the group. More like sinking the group. Am I right? Okay, that was a terrible.
No, you're not. So currently, we're still in the previously on section.
I was going to say, though, if nobody knows Nathan, obviously, if you haven't realized he shaved, and I just assumed it was because he was honoring Pedro Pascal.
So if we're getting this recap, did you guys get friends saying, is it necessary that I watch those 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett? I'm kind of like, yeah.
I did.
I mean, the
get
good thing is
friends
you can just
asking
skip
me
right to them.
Yeah.
So I do want to say up front, we have all seen this at least once, so we will be giving spoilers for this episode throughout. So if this is your first time watching, thank you, but leave and go watch it, and then come back and watch it with us later. So you actually don't really need to have watched those 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, because they do very briefly go over what happened.
Yeah, I was impressed with the fact that they actually mentioned Cara Dune at one point.
Yeah.
I was not expecting them to even mention her at all.
But you get the ship, you get the ship being worked on. You get the cool fight with the Vizsla guy, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I would totally recommend going and watching those episodes of Book of Boba Fett. But if you haven't, they still catch you up in this.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't really make sense on a couple of things is, in regards to why Grogu comes back, I guess, right? Because that would be the only real thing that doesn't make too much sense. I think there's a little bit of the missed storyline and obviously the choice, right? Because that's the big deal to me is the choice he made of picking Din over, essentially, following in the footsteps of the Jedi.
I think they have a special Mandalorian paint for the helmet.
No, because it comes off. I mean, Boba Fett's paint has been chipped all to pieces. So, Now I want to know when I first saw this scene, and we are. Oh,
we're starting over again.
Sorry, yes. my internet may not be fast enough for me to stream and watch a stream. It's because I have no picture from Disney Plus.
For me, it just went all the way back to the start.
It's on the recap right now.
Yeah. So what I was asking,
I think we can skip to it. Here we go.
The scene at the very beginning where the armorer is making this armor and bringing it out to this kid. Did anybody else think that was a flashback?
Yes,
I did.
Totally thought that was a flashback to Din Djarin himself. Yeah.
I'm not necessarily Din Djarin. I just assumed this was a flashback actually to when the purge happens, is what I think was going to happen. So when we see the armor kind of like freeze, I assumed we were going to see Imperial ship coming in.
That would have been cool too, but no, I thought that the kid in question was Din himself.
Yeah, I've watched several reactions to this
not
episode.
Hispanic enough.
Yeah, well, I did think that actually. I've watched a lot of reactions too, and all but one of them has thought this was a flashback.
Yeah, it very much was set up that way.
This is the way.
Thank you for everyone tuning in, by the way, in the live chat. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I enjoy somebody who asked who's the new guy in reference to Nathan with no beard. He definitely looks like the new guy. Did anyone think that this was going to be a mythosaur?
I was kind of hoping it would have been.
Yeah, I have to admit, like even while watching it, I thought, oh, this could have been a mythosaur, but it's not. It does not match what we saw back in ye old holiday special.
Right.
Had they been on Mandalore, it could have been.
It could have been, yeah.
A shout out to my friend Blair in Australia. He's the one that's walking and watching us.
Oh, yay.
Blair.
Way to step it up, Blair.
We do appreciate it.
He's there in Brisbane.
But all I get from this is just how bad the Mandalorians are at combat. You'd think they'd be able to, battle a giant lizard,
They got
Honestly,
like 20 of them. But
Their plan may not be working, but it's at least they got a plan.
Yeah. I'm just like, why did nobody scout out ahead of time in this particular lake to know that there was this giant crocodile thing there?
Yes.
I just looked at the lake and
did a
said,
better job.
This is a very placid lake. We'll be fine.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid.
I see what you did there.
Or OG alligator, if you remember back from the 80s.
This is an alligator turtle. Got a shell on the back, too.
Maybe this is the origin of King Koopa?
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm thinking probably
Totally.
not somehow.
Where's Chris Pratt? It's me, Mario.
It's a me.
Would those be Mando detonators, not thermal detonators?
Mando detonators.
Well, I mean,
only if they blow up Mendos. Oh wait, they do.
I just want to know what actually keeps a Mandalorian's helmet on, because with all the action that they have, like you would think that they would be sliding off, right? Because they're not like actually strapped to them. It's just there, and that's
it. Makes that vacuuming closing sound when they do put it on. You know,
It's like some kind of futuristic sci-fi magna seal.
Yeah,
there's the answer.
Yeah.
Lots of hair gel. That is the answer.
I think the clone trooper and stormtrooper helmets work kind of the same way, so they can actually survive in space for limited periods of time.
So do you think the Mandalorians have dinner for a month now?
Yes.
Yeah, but
that was so wizard.
But they have to eat one at a time.
One at a time.
In private, so no one sees them take their helmet off.
This is the way.
Or they just put it in a giant blender and put a straw up there.
Wow, that sounds disgusting.
Anybody want a meat shake?
No.
Meat shake.
Make turtle shark jerky, right?
It's high in protein.
And then once you're done with that, you can make a new pair of boots.
We get
That
title
big-
card.
I want that big mythosaur hanger there. That thing's pretty cool.
You're welcome for saving you.
No joke.
I feel like the armorer is a little conflicted. She's trying to like still sound and be all badass and Creed this and Creed that, but like Mandalorian just kind of saved him, you know.
Yeah,
He also
yeah.
was the dark saber. Like,
Yeah, which means he is the most Mandalorian of all the Mandalore.
So this item he got off of Jawa, this hasn't been referenced before. This is new information, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't think he got anything when he visited Palomino.
Pelimoto.
Palimoto, thank you.
Yeah, it looks cool though. I love how it's been like turned to glass with the the irradiated glass.
Now, I assume that he did get it from one of the Jawas just off screen at Pelimoto's.
Well, Pelly was probably on a date with one.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
You see the little chainmail on Grogu there? I love that.
It's Mithril.
No,
It's totally
best
mithril.
It's Mandrill.
Mandrill.
It's best thrill.
Okay, now you're just going to give yourself tongue cramps.
But maybe when they get to finally some point when they actually do visit Mandalore, maybe it looks like, the Emerald Tower, right? So it'll all be
Ooh.
Wizard of Ozzy looking.
Grogu looks very concerned.
As well he should.
I do enjoy the fact that Din just out technicaled the armorer there.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you took your helmet off, so you're no longer a Mandalorian. Well, technically, I can be if I go bathe in these waters. Well, technically, you can't get there. But if
technically,
I
I can.
But if it does still exist.
But if Chewbacca is living on Endor with the Ewok,
With the
it just doesn't make sense.
So here is the what's this? What are these things called again?
The Purrgil.
The Purrgil, yes. The
Yes.
space whales.
The space whales,
Yes.
yeah.
And I'm assuming they're linking it now, so it makes sense in Ahsoka when Ezra and Thrawn come back.
Yeah, and they just
Yes,
basically
I agree.
travel by hyperspace. Is that it?
They do.
Well,
They naturally
yeah.
create. They naturally do hyperspace, and my understanding is actually the first sentient beings who went into hyperspace did it by mimicking what the Purrgil did.
I'm sure that they were summoned here by a probe, right? A big, long, cylindrical probe.
Yes.
I actually suspect that they were summoned by
The
Grogu.
whale probe.
Right.
Yes, I get this.
Well, I think they sense Grogu.
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean.
he's
Not
like
that
a
he's
homing
beacon.
consciously
He can
getting.
leave his little seat and crawl underneath, and then
Yeah,
right
there's a
into
little
Mando's
tunnel.
arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great that
So
there's
do
a
you guys
tunnel.
think Grogu has more metachlorians than Vader at this point in his life?
God,
Then
yeah,
Vader?
For a
probably.
scale of 20,000, or do you think he has less than 20,000?
More than Anakin Skywalker? No.
No. Okay.
He's got a lot. I think he has almost as much as Yoda.
Well, I think because they've called him a Strandcast before, which would make him a version of a clone, they would have had to have manually inserted the metachlorians.
I thought that Quill said he was not a.
He's the original.
I thought
Navarro's looking very nice. I love
Because
his
he's 50
set.
years old,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I like how we have the dichotomy here of back in the early seasons we had Kawaki and monkey lizards roasting on a spit, and now we have them running free and enjoying life in the tree.
Yeah.
see,
And
now this is what
that
they should have made
creature.
Galaxy's Edge.
What was that
Yes.
little bat creature? Was that what was that?
That
shoulder.
lives in the lava caves or originates there, and actually attacked the group
It
in
was a-
previous seasons.
The guy had like a
They've
little
This
been
is
bat
tamed.
creature.
T3PO for TG3PO, tour guide.
All right, David Lozano in chat says that Grogu has a lower midichlorian count than Vader, Yoda, Luke, Leia, Kylo Ren, etc., in my opinion. I agree with you, David. I think that one of the reasons that he's so sought after at this stage in the galaxy's history is midichlorians are even more rare.
And with David, we love the monkey lizard.
Yes.
I love that Grief Karga has droids whose job is to carry the train of his magistrate.
Yes.
Do you think that was like his idea? You know,
Oh, it had to be, right?
Carl Weathers is like, I
He's
want
royalty.
robots to carry my cape.
Yeah. I like that, though, practical effect wise, it's actually two wheels hooked to his cape. So when he walks, he's pulling them.
That's clever.
But yeah, that Navarro looks dead up like it should be Batu, Derek, like you were saying. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment on my Kawaki and monkey lizard laugh. I've only been practicing it since age 6 in 1983.
I think he may have been talking about the droids.
No, I'm taking it as a compliment on my monkey lizard laugh.
What does Grief Karga's office and the bridge of the Starship Titan have in common? They both have spinny chairs.
Yes. I love this meta.
If you say so.
If you say so.
Whatever. I'm still going to call him the child.
Yeah. I love how everybody who knew him as the child is like, his name's not Grogu. Like Pelimoto was all like, that's unfortunate.
I like I was just using the force to spin.
Yeah.
and you hear it.
Spin and get the M&Ms.
Get the M&Ms. Yep.
Now, do we think they're M&Ms, or is this another 1980s flashback Easter egg, and those are Reese's Pieces a la E.T.?
They could be Skittles.
They could be Skittles. Oh, all right. We have a good analysis there in the Facebook chat. It's a Western trope that the hero who saves the town comes back later to see how it has prospered. Yes, Shane and various Have Gun Will Travel, Paladin. various Western heroes will come back and make sure things are good.
Pirates. I was still hoping we get some Hondo Naka, but we still haven't gotten him.
Yes.
No, we've got this weird Swamp Thing Pirate King guy.
Yeah.
So
mean
to add on,
Sigmund the Sea Monster.
Yes.
we'll get to him, but to add on to the gunslinger coming
man's
back to
chest.
the town,
This guy.
they also they civilize the town, but they themselves are not civilized. So once they have civilized the town, they can no longer stay in the town which they've civilized.
Right.
So continuing that tradition, Mando can't stay in Navarro.
This guy kind of reminds me of someone from like Guardians of the Galaxy, like a Ravager or something.
Yeah, these space pirates have a big Ravager atmosphere, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I think that's partly because they're all alien.
The rat.
None of them are human. Yes, the Swamp Thing Pirate King came to me and was like, "I must have your beard."
Nice
I am
comment. I love that.
purloining the beard.
Which
Yes,
go.
that's it. That's it.
Nice Van Halen reference there, David Lozano. I
Or even-
appreciate that.
Or even, of course, Spinal Tap. For every brown M&M, yeah.
That's
Now, I love the fact that we're getting a Nikto with actual speaking roles here. These guys were introduced in the 1983 Return of the Jedi, but none of them talked because that was just basically a big rubber mask that you could not emote through.
Yeah.
Now technology
are these any of your 501 First buddies, Kevin?
I think I will probably have someone working on it right now.
Okay.
I enjoyed that our Trandoshan here is of a slightly different variety than what we normally see.
It's short.
Bosk. Yeah.
Short.
More like Sid.
Like Sid.
Yes.
Most of
They're not all like Bosk.
Most of the 501st friends are ones that do background non-speaking stunts.
No, I think Derek was asking, do you know any of the actors who are in this makeup?
No, because usually they're not allowed to say anything yet. Not yet.
Okay.
They're still not allowed to say anything yet?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure once the show premiered if they were allowed to,
Yeah.
hey, that was me.
I love how Grief Karga's like, I still got it. You're not going to draw on Apollo Creed, my man.
I know, right? Yeah. Or Dylan.
Yes,
Dylan can shoot.
he can shoot. Navarro is not to be trifled with. It's also not to be caked with or pied with.
But
Wow, that
still,
joke
nobody
has
learns
layers.
you never leave anyone free. You just kill them all.
I know if they had finished off this dude, I don't even know what his name is, but then Den
Vane.
would not have had. Yes, Vane. If they had finished him off, Den would have not had a much easier trip at the end of the episode. Although I have some questions about stuff at the end of the episode, which I'll get to when we reach that point. But Grief Karga is correct. He would, yes, especially not when Creed 3 opens this weekend. That's right. Grief Karga is correct here. Din would make an excellent lawman, and that's not the first time someone's told him that.
Well, you know, they're simply setting it up for Cobb Vanth, right?
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
So
He does
maybe
great.
maybe he'll get the spinoff since Gina Carano blew her chain.
I'm
I
down
would
with
love
more
that.
Cobb Vanth. Yeah.
So now we
think
get
Cobb
the
Vanth is
Marshal.
cool. Yeah. Although if he becomes the Marshal on Navarro, what happens to Mos? What was it? Mos
Espa.
No, it was the other town.
They get a new
guess so.
marshal.
The bartender, the Weequay bartender guy becomes the new Marshal.
There you go.
Max Rebo makes a comeback.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always an inside job with him. He knows what day not to show up.
Mm-hmm.
He always calls in sick though.
I thought I laughed out loud when Mando stopped at the statue here and was all like, I need to rebuild IG-11 from the parts of this statue. And I was like, bro, I know you're not big on droids, but that's not how this works.
but it can because we're in a magical world.
Apparently so. And for a guy who hates droids, he sure did know pretty well how to put somebody back from like 2 parts.
Yeah, I wondered about that too.
Hey, just because he doesn't like them doesn't mean he's not prone to building them.
Favorite enemy and all that.
Yeah, it's his favorite enemy, so he knows how to disassemble them and therefore reassemble them.
Okay,
I've torn apart so many droids, I'm just going to do that in reverse.
Okay. So do you guys get 2 flashbacks for other movies in this? 1, The Borg, and 2, Terminator.
Yeah,
definitely Terminator.
and 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, I guess you can see that.
And you could throw in a couple of zombie movies too.
Yeah.
All right, I love this comment here. Cobb Vanth and Mr. Kim kicking butt and taking names.
Nice.
Yes.
Plus 42 points for the Kim's Convenience reference for Blue Tiva.
But is he chewing bubble gum or is he out of bubble?
He's totally out of bubblegum.
A Radio Shack in town for parts. That is a great callback to a time long gone. But hey,
unfortunately,
those is a long time ago.
Those malls are now closed.
Yes.
Well, instead of Best Buy, it should have been Circuit City.
Oh, Circuit City. Now we're talking. Because these are droids. They do have circuits. And of course, then we see that IG-11 is very much, still focused on the child here. And then
Shoot it.
Dad joke incoming.
Best dad joke.
I like how the robot saves the robot or saves him from the robot.
Yeah.
Now that's using your head.
Waka waka. I want to see the baby.
I want to see the babu.
There's a good one. Guess the Tossie Station's going to become a multi-planet franchise, David.
No, Tossie Station had terrible customer service.
And they only sold power converters.
That's where Luke Skywalker failed because he could have been a huge marketing campaign after he blew up the Death Star. I mean, think about all the credits he would have gotten if he would have gone out there and been like, I can be a spokesperson for you.
I appreciate the old school wipe to bring us down into the Anzellan's droid workshop, but I really wanted to see how did Din Djarin crawl through that little hole in his massive Beskar armor suit.
I'm assuming there's another entrance on the inside.
Maybe,
either that or he took a TARDIS.
What are these
guys just got on his back and he went cheap.
What are these guys called again? What's their race?
The Anzellans. And they are the best part of Rise of Skywalker.
And Mando
Frick's the best.
Mando is all, I don't understand. Do you speak Huttese? But then then the guy just kind of keeps flipping back and forth between basic
English
and Zellan. And then of course Grief Karga starts translating, but he only translates the parts that are super obvious.
It's like, no, it's broken. Oh, he says it's broken. No.
Yes, I agree. I would have put him back on the statue. Like, that's it, IG-11. We don't need you that badly after all.
I am wondering if they had plans for Cara Dune to be in this season, and they decided to replace them with IG-11.
Sorry, say that again, Nathan. Well, I was thinking about Bill and Ted.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they had plans for Cara Dune to do certain things in this season, and they changed it to where IG-11 can do whatever plot relevant things they were going to have Cara Dune do.
At least maybe
no squeezy.
God, baby.
He's not a pet.
So funny. Bad baby. Yeah.
I'm ashamed they didn't give him any Skittles or Reese's Pieces for the go.
Right?
Oh, they did. They just didn't know about it.
No, he ate them all before.
Showed him with a little bag.
Yeah, they're like, here's a little to-go bag. Chomp, whole thing gone, one bite.
Like, we didn't mean for you to eat
He's like, yo, see ya. Bye, High Magistrate.
So we kind of glossed over it, but in the office is when they gave us the little 2-line, here's what happened on the Book of Boba Fett. With the whole, it's complicated. I gave him away. He came back.
Yep. And right before
Yeah, but like I said, I still missed the meaning though, because I think that was a little bit better. I mean, yeah, it makes sense, right? He came back, but
Yeah, you definitely get more context from having watched those.
yeah, I just think it means more. That's all.
Now, do we think that the N1 Starfighter runs on Ipsium?
maybe so, because Mando might have, the lower
He's got I don't
military.
think so, because he's got hyperspeed.
It runs on Jawa juice.
I think I think the other ones, if they don't have hyperspeed, could be running on Ipsian. The bad guys' starships.
Maybe so. Although I would like to point out that the N1 Starfighter, I really want Mando to give that new ship a new name, by the way. But Mando's new ride has awesome sensors, because he said, this is the thing, and this is your enemy proximity indicator. So not only is it a proximity indicator, but it knows who's trying to hurt you.
Let's try spinning.
I think his ship is so cool.
It is. I just wanted to get a cool new code name. And I do like his old school arcade shooter maneuver here of looping around the asteroid and kablamo. Yes,
Lozano.
Mr. Fusion.
Mr. Fusion.
I know.
Great
like
Scott.
And when Starfighter has a Mr. Fusion installed by Pelimoto.
Well, that thing that's obviously supposed to be a carburetor sticking out of the front of its hood looks like it could be Mr. Fusion. So I'm with you, David.
Again, I still think he was going for a Fast and Furious vibe there.
And no, to our Facebook user here, a Bad Batch reference does not work if people are not watching it. They won't know what Nathan is talking about. Unless they only listen to our podcast.
That one guy right there looked like the co-star in Last Starfighter, the other lizard guy.
Oh yeah.
I love how his starship though can just be like floating, right?
Yeah, it can hover.
Everyone else still has to be moving, but he can just stay in space.
The enemy starfighters here vaguely remind me of vessels from Battle Beyond the Stars by the great Roger Corman.
And this whole battle reminds me of a battle with another Mandalorian in it, in an asteroid field, in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep.
I got Empire Strikes Back vibes too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, did anybody else feel like the main capital ship here is vaguely a modified Hammerhead Corvette?
It does kind of look like that, yeah.
It does kind of look like that, but the bridge looks very much like a separatist bridge.
It does, yeah.
I was saying, we haven't seen this ship before. I feel like we have. It's in the Clone Wars.
The Razor Crest did have a working toilet.
Oh no! See, that Beskar has been modified now, so he's got the normal fighter pilot modification for that sort of thing. I won't go into any more detail since we are live on YouTube.
Never trust a pirate.
Important life lesson.
Never trust a droid. So who does he trust?
Don't trust
non-pirate, non-droids. Now, if you're a pirate and a droid,
IG-11
right out.
Then he trusts you implicitly because the two cancel each other out.
Oh, so two negatives make a positive?
Exactly. Also, I jumped out of my chair with excitement when he all goes, "That is a Mandalorian castle." I'm like, yes, Mandalorian castle.
Now, he says that this is another planet in the Mandalorian system. Do we think that means that there were two planets that supported life in the Mandalorian system, like the star system, or that they're connected by some hyperspace lane?
Oh, no, I think this planet orbits the same star as Mandalore.
So this is SETI at Mandalore 6.
Yeah, although in Star Wars, we don't do those things most of the time, so it has a separate name. Although sometimes we do those things with Clactor 7 and whatnot.
I like that.
I mean, to be...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, I was going to change the subject. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, to be fair, Endor is a moon. It's the forest moon of Endor, right? So, and that's a living planet, so...
I like the fact that Grogu gets to go where he wants, where he can, and then he gets his own little carrier pod when he comes out.
Yeah, it comes underneath it. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
Man, Bo-Katan has fallen on hard times since we last saw her in Mando.
She's a grog of something.
She is sitting in the same position that Maul sat in when he took over Death Watch.
Yes.
Do you think those big containers in front right there are filled with like Mando meat or something?
They're her spittoons for when she's upset and she's chewing tobacco. Ding! So she keeps talking. She's a little. She's not bitter. She's not bitter at all. Actually, that's what those barrels are filled with, Kevin. They're filled with salt
from her own ears.
Jade.
Yes. It does not work like one of the still suits. It doesn't recycle it. It just evacuates it.
Evacuates it.
That's gotta be Adam O'Brien as the user there.
So I'm confused though with this whole interaction because she explains like, oh, now that I didn't come back with the dark saber, like, my whole thing disbanded. But it's like, but that's not what the Mandalorians were built on. They were built on an honor code. Like you wouldn't leave your family just because the captain failed, right? You would be like, how do we go back and get it next time, right? Like that would be what the family does. Like, okay, now we need to go attack Din and go get the darksaber so that you can be the head honcho Mandalorian.
But I think this is illustrating how there are so many fractures. She talks about all the fractured society, that it wasn't acting like a family. It was in accordance with prophecy. And then prophecy didn't happen, right? So they all broke up. Din Djarin getting the darksaber meant that Bo-Katan wasn't the prophesied reborn leader. So what are we all even doing here? And they just all left and became mercenaries.
Well, and I think she made it such a point. Like, this is the mission. That when the mission didn't turn out the way that she wanted it to, that caused everybody to leave.
Oh,
but
whoever
that's
is,
a matter of her priorities.
Whoever that is they have more hair on top than the lethal mullet.
It's Kyle.
My bad. But I don't know if I would say he has more hair. No, never mind.
All right, now we get these great concept art.
Yeah, I missed this. This was great to see this back again.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Like a gigantic snapping turtle. That's what that looked like.
So I have a question about the whole IG-11 thing. So he told Grief Karga that he needed to rebuild IG-11 so IG-11 could help him explore Mandalore. But then he said then he went to go see Bo-Katan, and she's all like, all right, fine, go here. That's where you need to go. And he appears to be heading to that spot. Does he still need IG-11 to explore Mandalore? Or is he all like, wait, never mind, I got the map from Bo-Katan. I'm good.
Well, I'm assuming he'll know where it's at, but he still needs somebody to go down there, like, specifically to find it, right? Because, like, he's only going to have, like, 5 minutes to do what he needs to do, right? So he won't be able to...
Before he, like, melts from the radiation or whatever?
Before, he turns to crystal, right?
He needs someone who will not immediately die of poison if the surface is poisoned.
Oh, okay. So IG-11 is the guinea pig droid, if you will.
He might just miss IG-11 too,
Well, yeah, but he would never admit that.
Right. That seems very out of character for Din, Mr. I hate droids. Although he kind of got over that.
He did, yeah.
I mean, it does bring back Nathan's point, though. I mean, is IG coming back just because... Cara Dune is technically written off now. And obviously, Carl Weathers doesn't want to be still, quote unquote, doing action, right? He wants to play the daimyo magistrate type role.
And he's real good at it.
Well, yes. His charisma is highly untouchable. So he is the best babysitter ever. Not just that, but there's only 100 assassin droids, right? So you need to have one of them. He might be the last of his kind.
He might.
88 should still be out there somewhere.
Or he could have been doing that
No,
thing.
he died in Shadows of the Empire.
Yes, totally. That's what we're going with.
Yes.
Or he's doing that thing where he's duplicating his brain and taking over the Death Star. Yada, yada, yada.
Or he may have died in Empire Strikes Back. There is a burnt-out IG droid in the droid incinerator area of Cloud City. But it's never confirmed if that is IG-88 or what.
Okay, gang. So, overall reactions. Yay, nay.
Who's going first?
We'll let Kevin.
I'll go.
We'll let Kevin go first, Kevin. Since he's the guest.
I found it very refreshing in a kind of way where, you know, when you're going back to your nice little comfy pillow and your blankie, and I just, yeah, and you know, and to me, obviously, watching it the first time, I felt like, okay, this is a setup episode. You know, not a, you know, a lot of stuff happened, but then not a lot of stuff happened. But I felt it was worth the wait. And then the second time around, I went and paid attention more to like the music and some of the background stuff. But I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great start.
I agree mostly with everything Kevin said. I would have thought that after this long, we could have at least gotten a very special 1 hour long episode of Mando, or even 45 minutes long, which is kind of like the longest Mando that we've had, I think. But yeah, I would have liked just a little bit more for a, you know, triumphant return. But it was definitely a return to form for the show, because it was all about adventure and excitement and, you know, all the things that Jedi crave not.
Yes. No, it definitely, it's like you said, it's a recipe that's worked for the first 2 seasons. And it's great to kind of get back to that formula. I mean, obviously, you know, we all praised Andor, and really appreciate that, you know, what we would say grown-up Star Wars storytelling, right? And to me, Mandalorian brings back that OG classic fun in my you know, my feelings, right? So it feels like, okay, I'm on a whimsical adventure, and you know, this is what Star Wars is all about. So I was super excited for first episode. It definitely laid a little bit what the season's going to be about, right? So he needs to go back to Mandalore and do this, and in the meantime, he's got to get the band back together. So let's get it going.
So for me, I love this episode. I agree with y'all that it was too short. I wanted more. But, you know, that's what a good first episode does, is it leaves you wanting more so that you come back next week and go, oh, man, this is great, too. I was thinking about it today because I watched Bad Batch today. I put that off to watch Mandalorian yesterday instead. And I realized in Bad Batch, my favorite parts tend to be the parts where the Bad Batch themselves don't actually show up. And that's not great.
Yeah.
But in Mandalorian,
When it's about the Empire.
yeah, when it's about the Empire, when it's about Mount Tantus and whatnot, those are better scenes. But in Mandalorian, when Mando's on screen, even if he's not saying anything, even if he's just standing there stoically, it makes it better. And
yeah,
that's great. So yeah, sorry, Bad Batch. This show is way better.
Absolutely, yeah. The scene where they shake down the pirates, all Mando has to do is stand back there and lean nonchalantly on that tree, and he is just like commanding the entire courtyard.
Yeah, it makes it definitely a unspoken presence, and that's really to, you know, the credit of the writing, credit of the atmosphere. Obviously, you know, Pedro Pascal and the stunt doubles that are doing that work make it, you know, and obviously we get the camera paint over to him, right? But to Nathan's point, you actually feel like, yeah, this guy can legitimately hold himself, right? He can do some stuff. We've seen it, obviously, you know, he's gotten his butt handed to him a few times, but at the same point, he's done plenty more to showcase how well of a fighter he is. And it definitely, like I said, it just felt good, especially, like I said, when we got to go back to Navarra and you got to see all, you know, they, again, take the time to show that, right? Like in Bad Batch, you're not getting that as much. I get it, it's animation, you know, and Scott, hey, half the episode was in the dark again, right? So here it's actually like lit up, right? We're actually seeing stuff, and you get the pan shots, you know, from when he's landing in Navarra, when he's coming back to, you know, see Bo-Katan. You're getting those moments. You know, when they're obviously traveling in hyperspace before the action, it gives you, yeah, sure, it's not the long, you know, minute long silence with just the music playing, but you still get those short moments where you can either just appreciate what the universe itself, what they're, you know, been continuing to expand with this show, and it gives you a minute to digest the material that you just saw.
Do you guys think that with the whole IG-11 thing, that there's a bigger thing that's going to go on, why he needs IG-11, not necessarily going into like a hazardous place, but would it be good for like a type of camouflage to do something, you know, that a Mandalorian would stick out? Is there still a price on Grogu's head? Maybe he needs him for. That's what I was kind of wondering, because for them to go through all of that, it would be weird not come back around on this IG character since he's supposed to get this other part, I guess.
I bet there is still a price on Grogu's head because, the Imperial Remnant is still out there. And we know from press of the before season 3 that Giancarlo Esposito is coming back as Moff Gideon. So, I would not be surprised if he shows back up somehow and is still wanting to, as he said on late night, catch that pointy-eared little bastard.
No, I'm with it. I think, and it's interesting that they're doing that along with what's releasing right now in Bad Batch with the whole cloning thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got in the first 2 seasons, and it just happened to be Mando season 1, or season 3, episode 1. It brings us back, and guess what released on Bad Batch yesterday, right? And actually getting more with Mount Tantus and with the Caminos and everything there. So, and to be fair, I mean, that was a really good episode of Bad Batch.
It was.
That really sucked me back in, after we've kind of been very lull of it. I mean, to Nathan's point, earlier when, it's been more interesting, but I'm still okay with that because it was still a good episode.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all the parts on Mount Tantus, when the Bad Batch wasn't there.
I liked the callbacks to John Carpenter's The Thing when they were and Aliens when they were tromping.
Yeah. Oh, definitely Alien
through the spaceship and I liked the fact that it was the Zillo Beast. Mm-hmm. I keep joking around about its return of the Zillo Beast, and it actually happened. Thanks very much, Dave.
So. Yeah, no, I mean, and again, going back to what we were seeing earlier with the space whales, and again, that's going to be a callback to Rebels, and it's going to be a future thing to explain in Ahsoka. So again, they're tying it all together, maybe not necessarily going to have all the crossover. I mean, they obviously can have the characters crossover. I'm assuming we're not going to see any of the Bad Batch, any of the survivors, right? Because it's really just Rex at this point, who isn't a Bad Batch character, but obviously, who could potentially show up here in some form. But I think at the end of the day, they're trying to link everything together. I mean, and that was going back to the interview we talked about, right, with Favreau a couple weeks ago when we were talking about, what is he trying to do? With the Mandalorian. He's already written season 4. He's trying to, connect the dots and have that giant crossover. So we're going to get these little tidbits that kind of show us the way and link, right? We obviously get it because we watch it all, we consume it all, and we talk about it. But for the average fan, it's just those little things, like I said, we got last technically in season 2 with Rosario Dawson finally coming out with Ahsoka. And then guess what happens after that? They announced Ahsoka. So.
Yeah. And I think the Purrgil showing up here is definitely meant for people who haven't watched Rebels, so that when they do show up and become a bigger plot point, potentially later this season, but more likely in another show, people will go, oh, right, those are those things that we saw in The Mandalorian. That's the first time we've seen those. Totally. It's not. But for the people who haven't watched Rebels, it gives them kind of an entry point to where they understand those when they show up later.
Right. Of course, I mean, how many years ago was that Purrgil episode?
Ugnaughts.
Yes, I agree.
Shout out to my buddy Carlos. Cool. He wants Ugnaughts.
Yeah,
I'm okay with Ugnaughts. I mean, we all miss Quill, so.
Ugnaughts are cool, but Baby Yoda Grogu can't pick them up and try to eat them.
No, Squizzy!
Speaking of, the scene that I wasn't asking for, but I'm so glad that we got, was this whole scene here with Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Wanting
Baby
to
Yoda.
squeeze the Anzels, right? And Zach,
more merchandising. If Baby Yoda can squeeze it, it must be cute, right?
Well, somebody at Disney Brass came up to Favreau and was like, you got to have more Baby Yoda. We need cuteness. And he was like, you want cuteness? Fine. I'm going to put Babu Frick and Grogu in the same scene and have them hug each other.
No squeezy, bad baby.
All we're missing are some porgs and Ewoks now.
How cute was this scene?
Definitely
oh my
porgs.
God, so cute.
And maybe a BB-8 cameo.
And then but the best part is the Anzellans are these little tiny balls of fluff, the cuteness, and then their attitude is all no can't fix. He broke, no fix. And they're just
No
like
friends
the most
anymore.
surly. Yeah, no memory. He's not nothing now. They're just like the most surly droid smith crammed into the cutest little body you've ever seen. No, squeeze it, put me down, bad the baby. So good.
So diving back into spoiler territory, we saw in the previews that somebody gets attacked and falls down in front of their little place in Navarro. So clearly we're going back to Navarro at some point, and there's going to be a fight, I assume, with Pirate King Gorian Shard.
Yeah.
Do we think?
Well, yeah, he's obviously going to attack Navarro at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because he's pissed off at Grief.
Do we think that that attack is going to cause them to leave Navarro and go to the planet that they're on, or that Babu Frick is on in Rise of Skywalker? And is one of them Babu Frick?
I think,
they didn't list him as Babu Frick.
Yeah,
right?
I think none of those Anzellans are Babu himself, and B, no, I think the only reason Babu is on Kijimi is because of Zori Bliss.
Okay, good enough.
But maybe Babu Frick comes and visits on his way with Zora.
Yeah, now that
So
I
we
could
get a
see,
cameo.
and then we get a Zori Bliss cameo too. Now that would be a cool, making sure people understand that this is connecting to the sequels. So, although honestly, having an Anzellan enclave on Navarro is pretty hardcore, connecting it to the sequels as well.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it would make sense, like I said, what they're trying to do and continue to expand the universe, but also interlink it. I mean, even though it's a huge galaxy, and we keep saying that, right? So, but again, I don't mind those little moments here and there. It's just if they don't make it a full, like we talked about before, like they don't make a whole episode of it.
Yeah, right.
So.
And I still want to know. I still want an official answer about these candies. Are those Reese's Pieces, and is this a very obscure ET Easter egg?
I think it is. I think he's abusing the Force here, though. I think he's channeling the dark side because he's not. He's not getting up to get him himself. Come on.
He's crossing. He's running right up to the line, almost crossing it. The only way it would have been totally dark side is if those had been dark chocolate Reese's Pieces. Thank you.
I mean, we don't see the inside.
Ooh, we don't know. Grogu, come back to the light. Somebody get him some white chocolate.
Well, they're not going to turn their cash cow and turn it into a villain. So
no,
that's true.
So,
Kevin, I dig your Mandalorian
even though it would make
poster.
great storytelling, like this is the whole rise and fall of a character, right?
Yeah, yeah. I dig your Mandalorian poster back there, Kevin, that says the legend continues.
Yes, I think I forgot where I got that, but yeah, I got a regular
from Hobby Lobby
season 3 coming. Yeah, I think you're right. Or Michael's.
I've seen that one before.
Yeah,
I thought it
was cute.
That would look great in my upcoming game room. By the way, I signed the papers for my house loan tomorrow. Yay!
Yay!
There we go. Now we can start construction.
Yeah, I can be all like, there's a beautiful plot of land over there.
Over there by the lava.
So what you're saying in like 6 months, we'll be able to come visit you on New Navarro?
Yes, New Navarro. That's what we're going to call the estate. Welcome to New Navarro. Because I'm sure that my wife will love that on the sign out in front,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it does vaguely
We might even tell her
the
before we
Lars
give you the sign.
Hut.
If you put it in Arabic and just tell her, it means, the Botman
Chateau
house, right?
Botman.
She's not going to know.
That's it. It's totally what it
She's
means.
not going to know. But yeah, no, overall, again, I think this was a great episode. It's been long awaited. I mean, think about it. It's been 2 years, guys. I mean, obviously we got a bit of taste in Mando season 2.5 in the middle of Book of Boba Fett for whatever reason, but it was great to get back to this. So I'm super excited. It's just like everything else. It's like, okay, I want to binge it, but now we got to wait 7 more weeks to get the conclusion. So
right.
Yes, my beard was so valuable that it was the down payment on the house. I should grow more beards.
You should. You could have a cottage industry. Hey.
I want to give a shout out, guys. First of all, this has been a lot of fun. I just want to mention that the live Mando talking is not done yet. We're going to be doing tomorrow night Culture Clash Live. Kyle and I will be doing a fun little Mando watch on the Fandom Podcast Network at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you check that out. Here it is, a little thing there. And we're going to be doing this on Fridays, every Friday, doing a little Culture Clash Live, talking about Mando Live spoilery and going over a few other fandom fun news and stuff like that as well. So make sure you guys check it out. Mando Watch. I'm sure that's Kyle right there. What's up, buddy? So check us out.
Good stuff. So, all right.
Okay, well, Kevin, you've got the stick, so I'll just remind everyone that they can catch our show every week on the FBN as well. Keep your eyes peeled to this here YouTube channel for more What a Piece of Junk.
That's it. We're calling it. Guys, have fun. Stay tuned with the Fandom Podcast Network. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, everyone, for coming in and watching.